We're going to be looking to see a really close match between Skaggsy and his teammate Ascension versus this G2-B roster. We see Kronovi, who's considered a legend of the game, playing with his team manager, who's definitely a lot less experienced and has no professional experience as a player. So we saw his team manager step up huge in their last series, and we also saw Skaggsy and his teammates step up huge. I think it's going to be which of these two teams comes in hotter during this next match. I think that it could go completely either way.
Now, obviously, when we saw Ascension, they were putting up, like, 45 goals a game or something like that. So, G2-B going to be a little bit more difficult of an opponent. Do we still expect that kind of high-flying offense to come from them, though? Do you expect they'll use the same strategy, or will they switch things up against the pros?
I feel like in some ways you can give the favor here to Ascension. It's going to be up to can Kronovi carry, and can Jazzo successfully rotate to fill in where Kronovi's not? That's really what's going to come down to. And the thing is that both those things are things that Ascension was already doing in their last match. Definitely a more difficult opponent, but as we saw with the leftovers, they were playing about that level against Tribune, and it made no difference who they were competing against G2A. Or G2B, rather. So here against Kronovi and Jazzo, A, B, whichever one it is. Right. At this point, it's
so maybe Ascension coming out on top. Are you as excited, Quinn? What do you think? Let's get into the match right now, but give me your prediction. Are you able to call a victor over G2B, or do you think they got it?
This is really hard. I think it can go either way. I think I'm going to have to put my money on Skaggsy and ASCENSION. I think they just have the chance to win it.
All right, we got 2 votes here for Ascension. We were both impressed by what they had to show. And it is Ascension in the blue, G2 in the orange. A good play there by Shanator to send it over to the side to block the shot opportunity from Jazzo, who was lurking right where he needed to be. And Kronovi, nice boom downfield. Shanator falls back, positioning himself well. Don't get the save, and Skaggsy rotates in behind him. Both teams vying for that first goal. I believe G2 has scored first in every single game they have played across both their rosters today. We'll see if they can break that one here, if Ascension can get a goal first. Maybe Jazzo right on top of each other there in the corner.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about seeing in this next game. It's going to be more about seeing how they play off of each other very well and their individual plays, because Jazzo's just not on the same level as Kronovi, so it's going to be very easy for them to just take Kronovi out of the game with a 50-50 as he challenges the ball and then dominate.
This goes in. Skaggsy puts it in first. A bit of a misrotation there from Jazzo, and it's Ascension on the board.
I mean, as I said, just take Kronovi out with a 50-50 and then just get the ball past Jazzo somehow. And here I think Jazzo was just caught completely out of position.
Yeah.
But on a normal, in a more typical play, we would see just Jazzo potentially being outclassed by Skaggsy and ASCENSION. It's going to be, how do they deal with Kronovi? How do they neutralize Kronovi and then just capitalize on Jazzo's lesser ability?
The thing that scares me for G2 is we've seen both Skaggsy and ASCENSION in separate situations dribble both teammates in their last game. And Jazzo, a player who is he's nobody to sniff at. He's easily can play well. And we saw some dribbles that MD22 was trying to pull on him here, but none of them were of the caliber that this Ascension roster was putting up in their quarterfinal match. So if they're able to pull it through here, here's another one right in front of the net. Skaggsy puts it through, and it's 2-0 Ascension.
Right, this is just another goal that comes from better rotations and better defense. We see Jazzo just whiff the ball, and he's the only player back, and when you're the only player back, your #1 goal is just to delay, and buy time for your teammate to rotate and get into net with some boost.
2:36, I mentioned the G2's been scoring first on their games. Here they have not scored at all. And Ascension has scored twice already.
The commentator's curse broke that real quick.
I wanted to see it happen. It was a blessing. It was a blessing for Ascension.
Ooh.
Skaggsy inside here. Continues to play towards the wall, gets it past Jazzo. It's just Kronovi in the back, but he rotates. He turns his car very quickly. Now he's got it in front of the net. Shanator just needs to stall it here. Jazzo's got a free shot. He'll take it, and he'll put it in. G2's on the board.
The bump on Skaggsy's so huge here. Skaggsy just trying to bait Kronovi into making a play, and ASCENSION with a 50-50. Now Skaggsy gets bumped and is unable to rotate back into net. So great effort there from Kronovi, causing some mayhem. It's just a completely huge solo effort, and Jazzo able to follow up on that.
Do you think Kronovi in any way did that on purpose? Like, okay, I'm going to flip and put the ball into ASCENSION, and then I'm going to move my car with that same flip into Skaggsy.
I think that he was trying to say, look, I'm going to stall this ball in front of their net as blessed as I can. I don't have much of an option, but I did not think that he expected that to go as well as it did.
Yeah, I think the bump on Skaggsy there, just an icing on the cake, but already good play by Kronovi. G2's got a point on the board, only down by 1 here in game #1. A shot towards the net. Skaggsy will send it to the side. Save your middle for Skaggsy already at halftime here. He's had to rack up quite a few. G2's been putting on the pressure. Jazzo smartly backing off on that one, knowing Skaxi would be able to play to the side.
And this game going a lot faster than the others that we've seen. We've noticed that just as a whole, there's a lot fewer dribbles from we've seen from Skaxi and Ostrator. They're just not given that moment. I think Jazzo playing very, very quickly is a key part of that. And Kronovi as well with the follow-up. Oh!
Jazzo finished this one off the ceiling pass from Kronovi. Skaxi sends it down the line, all by himself. Kronovi in the corner. Can he get it over the top of him? It's in front of the net. Ostrator trying to take the shot, but cannot put it through. 150 left to go. Still the 1-0 lead here for Ascension.
And Jazzo there, and air on the wall is going to put them on the defensive. Oh, and Kronovi able to get it over both. He has to get the ball center as fast as he can.
Puts it out there. Jazzo takes the shot. It goes post. He had the free shot. That transition critical. And inaccuracy going to hurt G2 here as they are still down by 1.
And with 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go, less than half the game, we see Kronovi really trying to dominate and make plays happen and let Jazzo clean up. We see it time and time again. And Jazzo right now, if he's just unable to get those shots on target, he's gonna struggle.
Oh, Ostrator doing exactly what Jazzo had a moment to do earlier but could not. Putting this one off with a quick tap on the wall.
He's so good with those flicks while dribbling Ostrator. I mean, just completely beating out the defender and having a wide open goal, and he's not missing. And when you're in 2v2 and you miss a wide open goal, a lot of the times it leads to another wide open goal from the other team.
Ostrator and Skaxi just kind of looked at each other after that goal. They're like, huh, well, that worked out. Now up by 2, playing it casually, very, very comfortable right now with their situation. I also need to credit Can Skaxi do this right now.
Oh.
All the way. No, Kronovi will send it over to the side. He has a savior medal as well. Both teams having to play all sides of the ball, and G2 right now down by 2. So much work cut out for them here. Oh, Skaxi in the corner. Passing out towards Ostrator. Sends down the field. No one able to get it through.
A good give and go, but that's what I was mentioning earlier. When you go too far up the field, it becomes difficult to actually play offense without compromising your defense.
I will be trying to push this one all the way through. Could not get it past Skaxi, but here comes Jazzo over the top, off the wall, towards the box, and Ostrator will send it over to the side. Final 30 seconds. They need a goal immediately if they want to be able to dream of scoring the equalizer. And that one is, if anything, will be another proverbial nail in the coffin, and Ostrator puts another one in.
So many of these shots are unbelievably fast. Look at this from Ostrator. Jazzo just didn't stand a chance. It was way out of position with regards to defense, and I think it's kind of been the story for this game 1. Just rotations, rotations, rotations. Skaxi and Ostrator look like they've been flawless so far.
They have been played so well. Scoring 4 times now on the World Championship player, Kronovi. The only player I believe we've seen today who has managed to win a World Championship.
You're right.
That one's clock hitting 0. It'll touch the ground no matter what happens with this ball. Ascension will take game number 1 cleanly here, but I have to give some credit to Jazzo. I gave him some crap earlier about having a completely default car. He has completely decked out his car now. Got some lime spiders and stuff. It's a good looking car there, but 15 shots to 1 goal. Oh my goodness, 11 saves from Ascension. You don't see that very often, where this team with the team that's put up the more saves gets the win.
That is something I have never seen, and I think that kind of speaks to the weakness of the shots coming from G2-B. They just weren't clinical, they weren't dangerous, and we see them able to turn those saves into goals for themselves. And we look here again, this great team play between Skaxi and his teammate over and over, and that bump from Kronovi onto Skaxi. It looked like they were able to make a comeback after that goal, but it just didn't happen at any point.
And you said it, like the bump onto Skaxi was very fortuitous, and if he hadn't made that bump, Skaxi was right where he needed to be to block the shot from Jazzo, and that's the only goal they scored here in game number 1. So Ascension with everything going in their favor, playing so well and tight, and I don't know what G2 needs to do at this point. Kronovi's trying to carry as much as he can, but 2v1s are difficult. Jazzo's got to rotate perfectly behind him. They absolutely have such a mountain to climb right now.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier the key to this matchup is going to be seeing Jazzo and how he plays in this next game. We're going to want to be seeing him really, really just doing as much as he can to not give up possession, and we saw a lot of whiffs in that first game. A whiff meaning a complete miss, just absolutely hitting everything but the ball.
Absolutely, but game number 2 underway here. We'll see if G2 is able to bounce back, get a victory under their belt, tie up the series at 1 apiece. Best of 5 here in our semifinals. Got to win 3 to move on. The winner of this will face off against G2A. I gotta say, G2A and G2B are some pretty uncreative names. You gotta split your roster apart. Just gonna put that out there.
G2, if you're listening.
Come on, guys. I believe in you.
We expected better.
Skaxi moving this one into the corner. He's got a Shunnator in support. They'll send it towards the net. Both Kronovi and Jay and Jazzo up for that one, but they will be able to play it away. A Shunnator on the wall. Skaxi rotates in underneath him. And let's look at this pass play. Never mind. Skaxi doesn't connect with it at all. Open net. Can Kronovi put this one in? He will. That's G2 on the board.
Yeah, really good job here from Kronovi. Great pressure and reading the ball on the wall. Able to get that touch. Just too many players for this blue team. I mean, just pushing forward, and they're unable to have any impact on the play. There's no defense.
Yeah, no, when Skaxi missed that pass, that opened up so much space, and credit to Kronovi, as you said, immediately turning, realizing he had an opportunity, not wasting any time getting that ball downfield, and Jazzo puts one in. A Shunnator in net, and not able to do anything. It's 2-0 G2.
What's going on here? In 1 minute, we see a 2-goal lead. Jazzo, really well-placed shot, actually, with a lot of power as well. Shunnator just, I mean, unable to defend that. I think that's going to be a big defensive error more than an offensive, I mean, credit. It was a great shot, but he should really be able to save those. I think just caught out of position.
And now, kind of the flip story from game number 1. G2 up by 2. Not even halftime here yet, which does really mean that Ascension has a lot of time to come back to this, but you saw a double commit there again. A Shunnator and Skaxi both in the air, and Jazzo doing a good job getting it around 2 of the defenders. The 2 defenders, rather. Kronovi in the corner just waiting for a mistake, just waiting for the ball to end up on his hood. He'll be able to pass into the middle. Jazzo was not really ready for that pass, but gets the demo onto Skaxi. This opens up lots of space. A Shunnator will get the final touch. Kronovi will send it over to the side. They won't be able to score just yet. The G2 holding on to this 2-goal lead.
From Kronovi.
Can he finish this one off? No, it'll go through, and Jazzo, I don't know why Jazzo would commit to that one when Kronovi's already in a 50-50 situation. Jazzo could have easily cleaned up if he just hung in the back, but they're still within the threat to score here.
I think he was expecting Kronovi to try and get the ball further across the field instead of go for that 50-50, and he was trying to be there for the pass and maybe help him out a little bit more. But that's a little bit of the inexperience that we see from Jazzo. Not a professional player, but playing with a legend. I mean, that's what you get when you play with your team manager.
Skaxi over the side. Kronovi now downfield. Jazzo, a big part of helping the G2 roster become better is he is and kind of forced them to do a lot of film study, of studying your opponents and figuring out what you're doing different. But the thing about film study that makes it so difficult to apply in the middle of the game is you have maybe 1 second to make your decisions here. And so even if you know what the right thing to do is, it's very difficult to, in the moment, be able to do the right thing.
Right, and the player view is just completely different than one you'll see in replays when you look at the auto camera and you get that whole zoomed out vision of the field. I mean, it's just so much more difficult to make these decisions on the fly.
Yes. But right now, they've made the correct decision so far in game 2. 2 minutes left to go, and they're up by 2. Taking a shot towards the net. Jazzo hung in the back. This time he'll get the free cleanup shot. That's exactly what we needed to see.
Right, this is the game plan, I think, for this G2-B roster. Let Kronovi bait in the defenders, and we see Ostrator just so impatient. Skaxi's there with the great defense, and Ostrator just trying to say, oh man, he doesn't have this, I've got this. It comes from behind, leaves go wide open for Jazzo.
Yeah, G2 trying to make a case here that game 1 was just a fluke, that they are able to still continue this one through. We'll see who moves this one upfield. Skaxi and a Shunnator right now on offense. Pass out in the middle. Where did the Shunnator go? Did he rotate around? He's actually going to come in late. Kronovi gets a pass. Now it's a 1v2. Kronovi and Jazzo, the pass into the middle, but Kronovi gets demoed. Excellent play from a Shunnator to remove the inevitable goal from Kronovi. 1:30 left to go. Still down by 3. Only 1 goal was scored in the last game by G2, and here they've already put up 3 and kept their goal clean.
And it's this interference play from Kronovi. Watch, he doesn't leave that midfield, and he does such a great job here at pulling in defenders, and he's just gambling on Jazzo being able to bail him out in the few opportunities that he doesn't get the right 50-50, or the ball doesn't move favorably for him.
Shunnator downfield. 1 minute remaining here in game 2. Looking like G2 will tie it up. If Ascension wants to take the 2-game lead, they're going to have to score 3 very quickly here. There's the first one. Does it go in? No, it bounces down. And Kronovi will play that one away. A bit of inaccuracy again, hurting Ascension here. They have been yet to score in game 2.
And you wonder if that impacts their mental status at all, right? Just not being able to score a single goal after what looked like a really dominant performance in game 1. I feel that there's just been a big change in the communication and the patience coming from Skaggsy and his teammate. We see them just unable to really put together a team play at all. Both of them seeming to go for the same thing often.
That breakaway will go in as the final clock counts down. Doesn't even really matter at this point. 9 seconds left. G2's got this one in the bag at this point. And we'll have a tied series at 1 game apiece. These guys, this is going to go back and forth at this point. I can already feel it. I almost called you Carpet. You're Quinn. God. That's
I'm hurt.
Shout out to my boy Carpet there.
Sheesh.
You both have beards. I don't know.
I'll let you off the hook this once.
All right, sounds good. G2-B going to get the victory here in game 2 after Ascension cleanly took game number 1. And we got a series on our hands. I cannot wait to see how this one plays out. Completely antithetical scorelines here.
Yeah, and we see 7 shots to 4, but there's no 12 saves or anything.
Yeah, no 15 shots and 11 saves.
Yeah, I mean, even though G2-B earlier, we saw them with way more shots, but much fewer goals. Now we see the tables have turned.
They absolutely have. As it was all the G2 show here in game number 2. Kronovi and Jazzo just finding the mistakes time and time again, getting the shots, pulling the defenders out, and then putting the ball in the net. It's as simple as that. But if teams of this caliber, to do it 4 times in this net without ever giving any up is quite the play here. G2 going to get that one, tying up the series again.
Yeah, I mean, a really good job, I think, ironing out their mistakes. It seemed like they were struggling quite a lot with just finding out where things were going wrong. And we saw Jazzo whiffing the ball quite a few times and also going for the ball when he didn't need to. And it seems like that was Skaggsy and Oshnator this game, just maybe ironing out the nerves. They just both teams really swapping roles, really?
To some degree, and I feel like to see Ascension maybe be able to bump, we talked about bumping earlier, I feel like that is a great solution for them here. If they're able to really break up the G2 rotation, that could be a huge difference here. At this point, tied up in the series, 1 game apiece, guaranteed at least a game 4, maybe game 5 with these guys. The winner of this match here, of this game here, going to kind of set the tone for the rest of the match because they will be putting their opponent on match point, but the winner moves on to face against G2A. We could have an all G2 final, or either way, we either get G2 final or we get KBM player versus KBM player. I'm excited to see either one.
What a boomer of a shot. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be fun to kind of see G2 versus G2, to see these teammates play against each other, but without J-Nash, it loses a little bit of its charm.
That's very true, very true. With 4:33 left to go in the game. And look at this work here. Can Skaggsy find a Shinator? That's all he's got to do. Pass across the field. There it goes.
He didn't need him.
Oh,
Scores the goal
it just goes in by itself. Oh my goodness.
I mean, you can see him actually lining up the angle, and that's huge because he's just trying to make it to the fact that if Oshnator, his teammate, isn't there, if he doesn't rotate right, if he gets bumped, demoed, any of the above, or doesn't even have enough boost to get there, that the ball will go in the net either way.
It's still risky, though, because he risks touching the post by turning the ball into the net, and then that would play it away from a Shinator. Either way, though, Skaggsy, the master of the shots here. Oh, Shinator barely gets back in time, keeping this lead in Ascension's favor. They'll move this one downfield. Can he put a second one in? Kronovi to carry this one away as Jazzo moves back into the net. Skaggsy interrupts Kronovi in the air. And Shinator in the back just waiting this one out. The shot from Kronovi is wide, but Jazzo's there to try and keep this pressure on. That one will bounce very unfavorably for G2, and they'll be able to move this one back into the orange corner. Out of the midfield. Kronovi to Jazzo. The small ball passes to get it past Skaggsy. It's just a Shinator in the back. He'll go high. Jazzo! Jazzo with the dribbles to send that one through. It's a tie game.
Definitely not the flick that Jazzo was expecting to get. He popped the ball above his car enough so that on the return of his front wheels back to the ground, that front of his car, the ball just caught the edge of it and popped up a second time. I mean, those shots can be so difficult to predict, and that's also part of Oshnator's car. He's using a breakout. It's a flatter car. You need to flip earlier, and it's more difficult in 50-50 situations.
Oh, Skaggsy just completely blew it through both players. They'll get the lead right back. Look at this play from this guy. 1 and then 2.
just great 50-50s from Skaggsy, positioning himself so well, calm, collected, and that's just Kronovi and Jazzo playing impatiently, and we've seen that a few times earlier in the first game, and I don't want to see it happen again because it's a hard mentality to get yourself out of when you start to become impatient and play quickly.
All the passes from Jazzo out towards Kronovi. Skaggsy interrupts, but it was a great setup. Now Kronovi trying with more of a setup here. Jazzo now again into the blue box. Skaggsy downfield. Kronovi doing a lot of midfield airplay for a 2v2 game.
We saw Skaggsy and Octator again double committing for the same save, and there was little to no pressure. I mean, this is what worries me about this team. They can't let that kind of, you know, errors happen, especially with no pressure. I think that they're going to be looking to put more pressure on Jazzo and not let themselves make those kinds of errors on defense.
Yeah, other than that one double commitment right in front of the blue box that we talked about earlier from last game from G2, they've been rotating pretty cleanly here. It's a big part of why they were able to score so much. Kronovi creates the opportunity and Jazzo just finishes it off. Gets the save here, and now if he can get the run down the field, the Shinotor's out of boost, still past it, and Kronovi will put it in. We got a tie game.
What a comeback here. I mean, that incredible play here from Jazzo to get that save and to get the ball forward. He recognizes Kronovi's up there. He'll be able to finish it. I don't think he even needed Kronovi, but just it was all about that save from Jazzo.
And the save and then the immediate transition into offense. Beautiful play here by G2. They've tied it back up in our third game. Best of 5. Kronovi putting this one across his own net. Now he'll move it up with the pass in the midfield. Jazzo jumping in to take the shot, does not make contact, but it was a good play. The demo on Kronovi means he spawns back on defense, but Jazzo moves back anyways. He'll be able to put this one high. Kronovi in net now. Skaggsy falling back. Kronovi moves up, takes a shot towards the field, towards the goal. Yeah, towards the field. Whole thing to the field, Caleb. Jazzo nice down the field. Pushing the tour over to the side. Both teams are kind of going for the long plays right now. Both Jazzo and Skaggsy missing. It'll be the first player in that gets ball control. It's a Shinotor now into the orange half. Kronovi down. And out off the Spider-Man clear. The ball just doing laps around the field at this point, but finally Skaggsy misses. Jazzo puts it in, and it's G2 with the lead.
I don't really know how they let this ball in. I feel like it was a big, real unfortunate for Skaggsy, just hitting the very edge of his car, but not enough to get a piece of it. It looked like he had the goal covered, but Jazzo, I mean, taking the initiative to go as fast as possible, I don't think they were expecting that.
Now with 1:34 left to go in game number 3, G2 holding on to the 1-goal lead. Can they keep it here? Can they get 2 in a row? Kronovi's going to put another one in. Both defenders out on the wrong side, and G2's got the 2-goal cushion now. Yeah,
great job from Kronovi to spot the space, and then the second touch, Bobby over the defender, he turns his car all the way around to make sure he got the right angle to get all the power he needs to put that ball in the net.
Now, man, they've continuously just put more and more in. That's 4 goals in a row, 2 games, or 4 goals in 2 games in a row. And they're going to make it 5 here. Is just a double commitment. Can they get it past? Yes, the Shinotor will not get back in time. So much just double commitment here. You've been talking about it all game, and it's really starting to hurt Ascension.
Yeah, let's clarify. I really think that at this point, a lot of the overcommits, they are errors, some of them, but they're also trying to even the game back up. They were 2 goals down with 1 minute and 19 seconds left. You have to take risks to be able to come back to the game. If they don't want to take the risks, they're just going to throw away the match, and that's not what you want. You do whatever you can, and so we're going to see them potentially give up an even greater scoreline, a scoreline that doesn't necessarily represent how close the match actually is.
For sure, and they have to commit 2 players on offense, but the problem really comes in when they're committing 2 players in the exact same space. That's almost never the right decision. As Kronovi puts this one underneath Skaggsy, Jazzo will steal the goal from him just for fun of it. And these guys, they're just having a good time. They're laughing it up over there.
Right, I mean, this is the same situation we were just talking about. They're trying their best to make this, Ascension's trying their best to make this comeback happen, and they're doing it by taking risks. And honestly, it's the right way to do things. It's just unfortunate because it hasn't seemed to work out yet.
Well, and they, at this point, if you are Ascension, get out of this game. Stop thinking about this one. Start thinking about the next one. You know you're losing this one. Just kind of just move on mentally, reset, allow yourself to think of a new game. And you still have 2 more opportunities to put this one through. But you know, the thing that makes G2-B so deadly, you heard it in their interview earlier, Kronovi and Jazzo are just here for fun. They're just having a good time. And when you have a player as good as Kronovi paired up with a player as knowledgeable as Jazzo, and they are feeling no pressure on the scene, they're going to be such a deadly roster against anybody.
I mean, make no mistake about it, Kronovi is one of the most just fierce competitors I've ever met. That guy does not like to lose. And I'm telling you, if they lost this, he might be here for fun, but he would be angry. And you can see that in the way they're competing. They're trying to make changes. We saw them practicing in the bullpen earlier. And we saw them talking strategies. Kronovi's here to win, and I think it's showing. I mean, he's playing so much better.
With the ball touching the ground, that is G2-B with the victory on Game 3. They now have match point over Ascension. If they get one more win, that is it. These guys here really having the Ascension's back against the wall at this point. What are they going to do?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, G2-B looking well poised to go up against their sister team G2-A in the finals here. So real quick, we got like 40 seconds. Do you think Ascension comes back?
I think at this point G2's on a roll, but this pause here might help them a little bit.
Yeah, I think the pause is going to help them, like you said, but G2 really ironing out a lot of their rotational problems and Jazzo picking it up. If Jazzo doesn't go missing, I see G2 just keep on winning all the way through.
Okay, well, they've certainly got the experience to do it. We're going to see if they can take it through the end of these semifinals. Folks, we are going to step away for just a second, and when we get back, it's going to be the conclusion of the second semifinal here at Universal Open Rocket League. Come right back for more action right after this. Philadelphia, the bedrock of the American Revolution. Today, it's the site of another battle. Gamers from a worldwide community of over 34 million face off for a chance at a title and a piece of $100,000. Speed, strength, skill are all required to advance. So whether you are a noob or grand champion, bring your heart, determination, and your best game. Stand by for the Universal Open Rocket League. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back here to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania and the Universal Open Rocket League, presented by NBC Sports and FACEIT. We are about to jump right into game number 4 of our second semifinal of the day here at the East Regional for the Universal Open Rocket League. Let's take a look at those brackets. As you can see, we finished up our first semifinal of the day as G2-A took out the leftovers. We're currently in the middle of the second semifinal as G2-B finds themselves up 2-1 over Team Ascension. And let's go ahead and join game Game 4 right now. And our casters, Wade Funk and Quinn Lobdell.
Thanks so much, Kevin. It's been an exciting series so far, starting off with Ascension getting the 4-1 victory in game number 1, and then G2-B has bounced back in games 2 and 3, taking the victories in both of those, and now having Ascension on match point. Can they finish it off here? We'll find out. It's G2 in the orange and Ascension in the blue. Kronovi now dribbling this one through the air to try and put that one through the World Championship player, backed up by his team manager here, Jazo. Skaaxy and Ascenitor, we talked about it in the last match. We've been seeing some double commitments from Skaaxy and Ascenitor. You saw there on the defense, them both going up for that ball. Luckily, Skaaxy got the block, but in this situation, you don't want to be double committing, because Kronovi will easily score on you.
Yeah, they actually had quite a lot of great pressure there on the opponent's half. And if you notice, we saw Skaaxy and Ascenitor running out of boost, and he kept doing a good job keeping the ball high, not letting them clear the ball, not letting them use the boost that they need. Oh!
So close to passing. Just like the hood-to-hood pass there from G2, almost connecting. But Skaaxy now trying to go for the bounce to see if he can get it over Kronovi. Kronovi wins this one out, and then Ascenitor more time in the back to calculate what he's going to do, and he will play that one away. Skaaxy up towards Ascenitor. I don't think that was the touch he was hoping for as it plays into G2's favor. They'll rotate that one right back around into the blue. And here comes Kronovi, the first shot. G2's on the board.
Fantastic shot from Kronovi. Look at his ability to predict the trajectory of this. The pass from Kronovi to Jazo. The ball never lands, and it goes off the most difficult corner to read. And Kronovi knew exactly where that ball was going to go. The defenders didn't even know where to read. They didn't orient their car properly. And as a result, we see G2 take the lead.
First goal, 3:50 left to go. In game number 4, a win here for G2 sends them on to face off against their G2 brethren in the finals. This is a common 3v3 roster, a very, very popular 3v3 roster that is split into 2 separate rosters to compete here in the Universal Open. And they just might be facing off against each other in the finals of today, both of which would move on to Santa Ana. But Ascension wanting to play the upset, wanting to knock out Kronovi and Jazo, see if they can move on here to face off against Rizzo and Stev, who wait on the other side. Skaax here. Ascenitor comes in just blazing from the back. Can Skaax finish this one off? He does. Look at this. Basically a screenplay from Skaaxy as he baits them. All the attention is on Skaaxy here, and then Ascenitor comes flying in from the back, creates this play, and Skaaxy finishes it off.
Yeah, and Jazo backwards, that was the key part of that play to look at. When you're backwards, it's just so much more difficult to be able to do anything within the play. You're not able to make aerials or challenges that you need to be making, and so as a result, we're going to see them able to even up the game. A big error from the team manager of G2.
And G2 there conceding that goal gives us a tie game in game 4. Novi across the net. Jazo in to try and put it back into the box, but not able to make contact. Ascenitor now downfield. It's past Kronovi. So much pace on that one. The world champ can't catch up, and it's Ascension with the lead.
Yeah, pay attention to the bounce on this ball. The bounce is the only time that Kronovi is able to challenge the ball, but because he's mid-flip, he's unable to turn his car. He's stuck going the direction he was going, and he could not turn to make the save, and as a result, he just couldn't do anything about that.
That concedes the lead over to Ascension. Dropped the last 2 games in considerable fashion. Jazo and Kronovi, the rotation has been playing so strongly in their favor. The way that they have been able to stay clean, allow Kronovi to do what Kronovi does, and Jazo to finish it off. Here over the top, Kronovi's going to try and continue to carry this one, but him and Jazo right up on top of each other again. That sort of formation is what gives ball control back to Ascension, and they'll try to move this one out. They'll put it into the orange.
Right, we spoke a little bit earlier about Jazo, his inexperience as a team manager, just joining Kronovi as a friendly teammate, and really reaching quite a lot of success here as they are in our semifinals. And so we look and we see Jazo oftentimes making rotational mistakes or positional mistakes, but he has been impressing us today with his shooting especially.
Skaaxy now. On top of Jazo, 2 minutes remaining here. Past halftime in game 4. And a win here for Ascension sends us to the critical game 5, but this one all the way from downtown Kronovi, Hellfire reigns, and it's a tie game.
This is just a complete outplay, passing the ball to himself off of his own back wall, and able to flick it past the entire defensive team into the far corner of the net. That's just undefendable. Great play from Kronovi.
Yeah, the sort of plays you just look at as an Ascension player and just go, huh, well, I guess that went in. That's unfortunate. Couldn't do anything about that one. So it would be impossible to predict that that would be going in to position yourself correctly. Now Kronovi able to move this one out. Remember, a victory here from G2 clinches this one here and sends them forward. And they've tied up the game here with 1:35. Plenty of time to find the lead. They're not able to find it in regulation. We'll go to overtime for sudden death victory. First goal wins. Jazzo on the wall. Just not able to get it through Ascensor. Skaxi now sends one into the box. Now he plays this one away. Ascensor in the back. Able to boom it into the side. 2 players commit again, and Kronovi, all he's got to do is be patient on this one. He couldn't gain ball control as fast as he wanted to. And that means Ascension will be able to move this one downfield. But we're approaching this final minute. Both teams have this game within their grasp.
Yeah, 2-2. Neither team is going to be looking, I think especially G2 is going to be looking to play this one way more defensively than they typically would as a result of wanting to just be able to secure the win. They don't want to give up another game and potentially put Ascension on match point.
Oh, Kronovi takes a shot. Ascensor gets the block, but Kronovi's right where he needs to be. Falls on the ball and puts it through. That's G2 with the lead.
Kronovi, what a play here from him. The flip from his shot also lands him on top of the save. That's just incredible, and I think a little bit fortunate, a little lucky, but wow, what a play there.
45 seconds remain for Ascension. They have to get the score, and Jazzo went for a fake kickoff. They could possibly secure it here. All he's got to do is put it in. Oh, but he puts it into the corner instead. Difficult angle to hit. Kronovi might be able to finish it off anyways. He misses, and that means Ascensor has ball control. Skaxi now in the back. He's got Ascensor up in the cherry pick position. They could possibly pull this off. 30 seconds remaining. The shot towards net blocked by the world champion. He plays it away. 23 seconds now remaining. Ascension's tournament life on the line. They need the victory right now. They have to equalize. They want to dream of winning in overtime. 14 seconds remaining on the clock.
And we've seen
trapped in their own half right now.
Time and time again, we've seen them overcommit G2 in the worst possible times. Like right now, can they secure the win?
Oh, Ascensor, oh, he misses the ball. That'll do it. G2 with the win. 3 games in a row. After dropping game 1, they get the clean victory, and they will move on to face off against their own teammates in the finals.
Yeah, what a funny story that is. G2A versus G2B in the finals. We look at the scoreboard quickly. We can see a very even amount of shots, very even amount of saves. This game was more about control, and we definitely saw all of that coming from Kronovi, really dictating the pace of the play and just outplaying the entire Ascension squad time and time again with Jazzo there to clean up.
No, but the camaraderie here from the teams showing it off to each other. And you mentioned it earlier, the stats on this board here, such even stats across the board. 8-7 on the shots, 5-6 on the saves. Very, very close game, but it is G2 that's able to find the back of the net more often. They'll take the victory here over Ascension in 4 games.
Right, and with that victory, G2B secures their spot in the grand finals in Santa Ana. Let's take a look at how they made that happen.
This game, high-flying stuff from Kronovi. He's able to put in that first one there, and it was basically just the G2 so all day. This goal, a good one here, as they were able to set that one up, but it's all they were going to get. We get one more later on, but it wasn't going to make a difference at this point.
And I think one of the big parts of Game 1 and this last game, even to get goals for Ascension, we saw Jazzo making a lot of those errors that he wasn't making in the end of the game, and we see he's so happy.
All right, so there we have it. Our finals are set, and it is the 2 G2 squads that have advanced. G2A and G2B both have qualified for the Santa Ana Grand Finals in a couple of weeks at the end of the month, but both have to play right now to see who comes out on top in seeding for that event. Now, of course, for those of you who are tuning in to CSN Philly and wondering why our